itipi so bhagavā arahaṃ sammāsambuddho vijjācaraṇasampanno sugato lokavidū anuttaro purisadammasārathi satthā devamanussānaṃ buddho bhagavā. So now we kind of have like a speech within speech. We know that Viranja, the Brahmin, has heard this this first part about Gautama, the ascetic Gautama, and now we're hearing this other beautiful sounding report that's gone forth. And so here we'll just take that as like thus, almost like I think of it as like a colon. And then we have so bhagavā arahaṃ sammāsambuddho. There are different ways that we could take this. We could think of this as that one, or he is the blessed one, the arahaṃ. Now, an arahant is one who has attained total liberation. And then sammāsambuddho, the completely enlightened one. Now, you might wonder, why did I put these in blue? Well, I put them in blue to remind myself to mention that, now you could say this blessed one is an arahaṃ, is one who's achieved total liberation, is a completely enlightened one. I kind of like that. Now, let's say for a minute that you wanted to say something like, oh, I would like to offer reverence to such a person. And actually, we do that. We've probably all heard this. If we were to offer reverence to, these would all be in the dative, and they would end up looking exactly like this. Not this. That would be the reverence part. So becomes tassa, and then we get bhagavato arahato sammāsambuddhassa. So I just wanted to make sure that I remembered to say that this is almost the origin of that in a way. Now, I don't know that it really worked in that order, but I just wanted to mention that. We're going on now. So I should say this. This blessed one, an arahant, or we'll just say completely enlightened one, is, and then vijjācaraṇasampanno, is endowed with vijja, knowledge, and charana, conduct. Vijja we probably come across, and we certainly come across avidya, like ignorance. That's the first, what would we say, in the dependent arising. This is the first kind of condition that causes everything else to happen. Charana is related to like charity, to move around, so conduct, and understood good conduct. Sampanno is endowed with. Notice this is masculine nominative singular. And just a little side note here on the compound. This compound is has three different words, but it kind of separates into like, I don't know if I could put brackets here. We'll go ahead and put some brackets. This part is a devanda compound because it doesn't mean the conduct of knowledge. It means conduct and knowledge. But here, endowed with, and I think, I'm going to go out on a limb, I think endowed with does, or if these were separate words, we would expect the instrumental. But run together like this, we just get the base form. So just keep that in mind. Sometimes when we're looking at compounds, it is important, if we don't know anything else, that we need to know if something is like a devanda, where we're talking about two different things, or is there a relationship of, is it A and B, or is it the B of A, or something like that. So anyway, and just to kind of illustrate this, we wouldn't say endowed with the conduct of knowledge. That's not typically how this is taken. So it's endowed with conduct and knowledge. Sugato, again, a very, I think a first lesson Pali primer. Well gone. Endowed with knowledge and conduct, is endowed with knowledge and conduct. We could keep is well gone. Lokavidū. Now here it's is a knower of loka, world. We might say the world or worlds. There's more than one realm. When we think of world, we don't want to just think of like a planet or the earth or anything. We want to think about all realms of consciousness, all forms of existence. So that's what is being said here, is well gone, a knower of worlds, maybe all the worlds, anuttaro purisadammasārathi. And here we get an adjective, the unsurpassed. This is, again, these are all masculine nominative singular. The unsurpassed saratthi, the unsurpassed, and what is a saratthi? Charioteer. Now, we want to think about a charioteer for a second. A charioteer is not someone who like drives a car, and driving a car takes some skill, but a charioteer takes a huge amount of skill, because we have to, or not we, I've never done that and never will, but one would have to bring all these horses under control, right? And so that's the idea. The image here is that the Buddha is this unsurpassed charioteer of something, and of purisa, of people, and then dhamma, in need of training. I think the Pali English dictionary says of human steer, and that's, making it a little looser, but it's bringing that image more alive. But we'll just say the unsurpassed charioteer of people in need of training. Keeping in mind that if we wanted to do kind of a more beautiful translation, a Kalyano translation, that we might have to adjust that a little bit. Satthā is a teacher. Now this one, I remember when I first came across this, and I admit I kind of dived into these texts without a lot of knowledge of Pali. I just assumed that this was like some sort of feminine feminine nominative singular, but this is like for satthā. You would have to look this up under satthā. In other words, some of these cases have a consonant ending, and this means teacher. A teacher. And then devamanussānaṃ, and this is another devanda. It's not a teacher of men, of gods or devas, but a teacher of, we'll say humans and gods, devas, if you prefer. And then he is buddho. He is the Buddha. The Buddha. And we might say like the awakened one, or however you want to say that. Awakened one, enlightened one. Bhagavā. The blessed one.